Datuk, good morning.
Good morning, Peter.
Welcome to Dayakdaily and our Spots On this week.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. The latest issue now arising in Sarawak is this. When they said, and they want to create this perception that to vote for GPS in this coming election is akin or equivalent to voting for PAS. Is this, what do you think about this?
Well, I think the position in Sarawak, whether it's PSB or DAP or PKR or whosoever they are, I think they don't have any better issues towards the present-day government in Sarawak or the party that's at the helm of this government, which is GPS. If they ask that sort of question, I think they should ask themselves, particularly DAP, PKR, and those former PH components, when they were in the PH government before, and even in the Pakatan government, ask themselves, did they vote for PAS?
When they actually
vote for PH or Pakatan Rakyat? The same question would go back to them. Yeah. But for our case, GPS, as everybody should know by now, is a completely independent coalition of parties that are purely Sarawak parties, Sarawak-based parties.
But then again, people will ask, well, you said you are not part of PN, but you have ministers in PN government.
It's very clear that GPS participation in the federal government is to stabilize the nation, stabilize what they call the economy, the political stability of the nation, led by Tan Sri Mohidin, who had been chosen by the Agong, properly via the Constitution of Malaysia. Now, if GPS had not done that, there would be chaos. There would be complete disorder that Malaysia would be suffering, especially when the pandemic of COVID-19 had been at the height.
So you believe that GPS has done the right thing by joining PH and
well, that is the only one reason that I gave. I just gave. But then there are many other reasons. The other reason is also that ministers from GPS who are in the cabinet of the what they call Pakatan National plus GPS government, they were there to be the greatest check and balance for Sarawak interests, as well as Malaysia interests.
So meaning they are now helping Sarawak to get more.
Not just getting more for Sarawak, but to see that the Malaysia, the direction for Malaysia is there that suits everybody, and it must all go well for Sarawak too.
As the information chief for PBB and vis-a-vis, in a lot of ways, people think also you are influential in GPS. Do you think GPS will allow this other party to just come in? Do you think GPS will also?
You mean the Pakatan National?
Whatever parties
components
they are. Yes. Should they come here?
I think it has been made clear that one of the understanding for GPS to move into that coalition of Pakatan National and GPS federal government was that GPS must stay independent in Sarawak and not to be disturbed. For example, if PAS, or UMNO, or Barisan National for that matter,
or even
PBBM,
or even
Bersatu, wants to stand in Sarawak, I think that will, of course, spark or stir something which GPS must stamp its foot out. We'll fight them out in Sarawak.
So there is no such thing as
no compromise.
You are friends, so-called friends in the federal level, but at the state you also friend. There's no such thing.
I think as information chief, from what I gathered, the stance and understanding that we had behind, although I don't have the solid what they call evidence for this, But then our leaders in GPS are very certain that PAS at the federal level and UMNO, even Bersatu, had more or less promised or vowed, not to disturb Sarawak or send any of their people to be candidates here, or allow any of their parties or members in Sarawak to stand against GPS, because that, I believe, is now a taboo for this coalition. So GPS must stamp its foot out. If any of these people want to stand under any of the banners or flags, for which Pakatan national members are using, in Menanjung, I believe, or they want to be independent for that matter and fight GPS, I will fight them out like any other opposition.
So, whoever they are, even in the PN, currently, if they come over, they will be considered as opposition party.
Opposition. Because GPS has been crafted to be a coalition which is purely for Sarawak people, to lead Sarawak in the best way that we can. GPS is now being led, the federal government is being led by leaders with more than 40 years of working together, experiencing trial and tribulation together, and have become a group of people who are matured in politics, who are matured in understanding the pulses of the people of Sarawak and respond to them positively. Now, if any Semenanjung party who has branches in Sarawak, like PAS, UMNO, DAP, PKR, we consider them as being controlled by Malayan parties. So they cannot say they are they are pure Sarawakian. Maybe except PSB, but PSB has been adulterated. They are also accommodating people who had been formerly in the PH, Marubian, Sichihao.
And part of them were partly partners of
they were in the government at one time for 22 months. And a lot of Sarawak interests had been sidelined. And we had to chase for that, quite miserably. And Marubian, for example, as a minister there, should have known better what Sarawak interests were. But there were so many projects are being cancelled. So I don't think he has that right experience, to bring to PSB for any good. Because PSB, in fact, will be, having him as a burden, if at all. It's a Sarawak party. We want to claim as to be a purely Sarawak party, but having Barubian and all these people from the former PH, or the former, what do you call it? We can say the wise katak, wise frog, coming from the former PH, actually is a burden to them. That's from my point of view.
Dato', you're talking about Sarawak rights and independence just now. There are parties in Sarawak right now which vouch and, fighting for Sarawak real independence. What do you think about this view then?
I know, there are parties who share that view with those NGOs, especially in the Facebook. They call themselves Sarawak for Sarawakians and so on and so on. I mean, they're bringing Sarawakian through their activities to an era of regression rather than moving forward.
What do you say then?
I say this because we have to ask ourselves, had we not been in Malaysia, we would be part of a province in Indonesia.
Sarawak.
Sarawak would be a province in Indonesia. There's no doubt about it. And Sabah would be just part of Philippines. And that would not be good for the stability in this area. And we are blessed actually to be part of Malaysia. There are a lot of developments, of course, but we did not cover all as we want it to be covered all, because we have challenges. Among them, the demographic and geographical challenges that Sarawak is facing. But then we don't stop there. Now, GPS, one of the reasons is to fight for MA63 without fear of favor against any of the Malayan parties. When we were in the BN, somehow there was some subtle control by the Barisan National leaders, predominantly UMNO, yeah, and maybe to some extent the other members. But then, when the 2018 election happened, it gave us an opportunity to be independent by ourselves, completely independent. Why? Because GPS is not being controlled directly or indirectly by any party. Whatever happened in Semenanjung parties,
right,
UMNO or what do you call it, MCA, MIC in Barisan National, yeah, would not happen to us. It would not have any bearing on us. The same thing, whatever happened to us, we are not being what they call subjugated to any kind of control by them.
Yeah, Dato', so insofar as GPS is concerned, it's fighting for better Sarawak. But Sarawakian may think that they might want to give other parties like PH, GASAK, PSB, PBK the chance to rule. Do you think this one will be akin to supporting PH, which lasts only 22
months?
22 months?
I think it's, you are completely spot on that. Because orang Melayu cakap lah, jangan cuba-cuba, jangan cuba-cuba just for the sake of cuba-cuba. Ya, anang cepet utai, tik nuan nak berdaun nemu. Ya, manahkan nak manahkan, anang cuba. Kita takut ada racun dalam
tanya lah.
Tanya. So that is what I want to tell my brothers in Sarawak, my brothers and sisters in Sarawak, of all races. Don't try anything which you are not certain of. PH 22 months told us a story of a group of people who joined arms together for the sake of getting power. They just had the convenience of joining arms, just to get power. But when power is given to them, they knew nothing of how to express
their manifesto. So they say it's not about
their wisdom, whatever, and translate it for the benefit of the rakyat. Even they say, okay, the manifesto which they put together in very clear terms, they would do this, they would do that, for the benefit of the people. They just shove it to the corner and say it's not a holy Bible for them to follow. So I think
Sarawak suffer as a result of that?
Of course. Sarawak suffered a lot, dilapidated schools, Sarawak would go bankrupt, projects of many kind, huge and medium and small were being shelved, like bridges, roads and so on. And so many other things along the list of lines. Where were the minister from Sarawak or deputy minister from Sarawak? Representing Sarawak through DAP or PKR. In PH, they were there, subjugated, controlled, undermined, and disused actually, by the PH political masters. And I think that wouldn't happen to Sarawak.
So
in GPS.
Coming state election, the same characters will also be there. Should they be given the chance?
No, because they are just recycling their rhetorics. They are recycling their manifestos, I believe, and they wanted to have another bite, for which you have seen, how it's proven. And they are actually miserably unworkable and actually disastrous in many sense for Sarawak interests. I believe if you give them a chance, it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of your votes. It's a waste of your hopes. And it will become a nightmare for you. So I think there's no better choice than GPS.
One last question. Do you think GPS is the best option for Sarawak to propel Sarawak towards developed status by 2030?
I think it's not just the best option. It's the only choice that Sarawak could have. Because the others, if you see that what called cluster of opposition parties, be it the new or the old ones, they don't have that level of understanding, which you can say is certain. They are here actually, what I call scouting, yeah, each other's weaknesses and strength in order to look into another convenience of working together for a temporary purpose, is to get the power.
They just want to win.
And they are posing an artificial outlook, as if they have been working for years together. I think that is a bait for disaster. If Sarawak people falls into that bait, we will have disastrous impact.
So you advocate that GPS...
GPS is proven.
Yeah.
GPS is proven. You see the SST, for example.
Right.
We have made serious inroad, significant result, high impact result, yeah, through the able leadership of our Chief Minister. Look at Petronas' amenable and cordial support for Sarawak now. We have more than 3 billion worth of revenue every year from our SST. We have, I think, chances of getting better equities in joint ventures of many kinds in the oil and gas. We have good support from the present Prime Minister and his cabinet in many of the policies given. Actually, we are blessed. But the pandemic itself, COVID-19 itself, yeah, the challenge that we overcome together, proven that we had survived, yeah, all because of the working relationship that we had with the present federal government. And I think the wise leadership and the wise decision of people in GPS, led by our Chief Minister and his deputies, like Datuk Douglas Uga, Datuk James Masing, Datuk Tiong, Datuk Sim, and Datuk Wang Tengah, all these people are there actually, in the best interest of Sarawak. And people like me, we soldier on what is good, okay? We'll fight what is bad. So I think PSB, well, they say they are Sarawak parties, but as I said, they are tainted, with so many cloudy support from their, allies who were former PH people, and then some, of course, disgruntled politicians who had lost in many elections, maybe even lost their deposit and trying to be champions, even at kampung level. Making acquisition, and then Wang Sungkar himself had been defending, what policies that we had done, by the leaders of GPS himself when he was part of coalition and he was GPS friendly. He was there, standing all out. Even like, for example, the NCR Land Code Amendment, for example. He was there, defending it all out. In fact, Pujut was chucked out because of his complaint, for example. And now he wants to lick his saliva back? Or he's spitting into the air?
Perhaps
fight GPS? You know why?
Why?
Because he wants to be Chief Minister, I believe. He wants power. And maybe he has the money. He has the pot with people with the money. Maybe. But that's not the way to do for Sarawak. Well,
people will ask, if Sunko, if Baru Bian wants to be the Chief Minister, and now we have Abang Jo, who do you think is the best person to lead Sarawak, so to speak?
I think it's still Datuk Tinggi Abang Jo. First, I believe he's a clean leader. He's very clean. He is free from any negative perception of corruption. He's free. That's why, like GPS, for example, is led by him to be formed in the first place. He did not want, whatever happened to UMNO under 1FDB kind of accusation or stigma or whatever to happen to us. And it's proven, GPS or PBB or whatever members within it, PRS, PDP and SCPP, we had nothing to do, with whatever happened,
So, finally, do you think GPS is ready for the coming election?
Of course, I believe. Election has been in our ears, in our mind, in our heart since GPS was born.
Can you win?
Handsomely, I believe, because the Rakyat people, I see From my own estimation and assessment throughout Sarawak, we will get not less than a 2/3 majority in the House of Representatives in the state. And there's no two way about it. GPS is the one and only choice for us to be a better Sarawak.